everybody, I'm Joey Evans.
And I'm Camilla.
And today we are taking a look at a skirmish game.
From Chip Theory Games.
From Chip Theory Games?
That's why I'm here.
Yes.
That's why.
Hoplomachus Remastered.
Yeah, really?
Yes, it's been remastered.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Says so right there.
Huh.
Yes.
You didn't show me the box the first time.
I didn't. Barely showed you the game. Just kidding. Now, Chip Theory, you love Chip Theory, right?
I have recently discovered that I love Chip Theory.
Really? I really just spoiled that, by the way.
Oh, my bad.
Just dove right into it.
Yeah, no. I played Burn Cycle. I've always been really intimidated by them.
Right.
And so, but I played Burn Cycle, really liked that. Played Too Many Bones, loved that.
Yep.
And so because of that, I was willing to check out a skirmish game that's been remastered.
Hoplomachus. So before we get into what we thought about it, let's see how it's played by someone who really knows the game and does so great with these.
Skip ahead about 7 minutes.
So rude. Okay, we are set up for a game of Hoplomachus Remastered right here. Now, a couple things. This is a skirmish. I'm going to go through here as well. So there are several different modes. This is a skirmish mode. That way you kind of get a feel of the game. Again, this is not a rules teach. This is kind of just to give you an idea of how the game is played. Also, I set up to where we're more in the middle of a game. So you can kind of see more of the game flow with more pieces on the board. So this is acting like we're more towards the middle of the game. Now, before we get into the game, I want to first show you the chips so you can actually see the iconography on there and how that works. Here's a typical chip right here. And you'll notice right at the top, the green part, that is the movement. And then underneath that, the orange is the range. So the range would be 1, 2, or however far it is. And it could be like where 1 is, of course, right next to them. Then, of course, the red is the health, the hit points, and those are the chips put underneath there. And then underneath the name is going to be the abilities. So these are ones that are going to come in later. They could be innate, they could be special. So these are unique to each of these characters. Also, you'll notice a couple of die over here on the sides. The die at the top, the die are going to be the die that it rolls when it attacks. The number on the die tells you how many hit faces are on that die. So you kind of see a bit how powerful those die are and how likely they are to hit. And there's also a class icon there in the side that might make a difference later. Okay, so now we're going to go into how to play Hoplomachus Remastered. This is a skirmish, like I said here. This skirmish is going to be, it's very simple. Your whole goal is to eliminate the enemy units. If you take all the units off the map, or if you defeat their primary hero, which they do not start on the board at the beginning of the game. You have to bring them out and activate them. So that's going to take place right here. Also, you'll notice that you have a crowd favorite track, a blue and a red. So again, because we are right now starting in the middle of a game, rather than start at the beginning, I want to show you the middle of the game so you can kind of see more things happen so you know going forward. So these tracks are going to have, as you move up these tracks, which we'll get to that in a moment, you're going to cross these barriers here, which you're going to get that ability. Like in this case, it is activate your primary hero, which if I cross that, at this point here, I would be able to flip, and now he is able to be deployed. And we'll go over deploy in a moment as well. But something else happens when you cross over this. When you cross over this, the person with the least crowd favor also gets to add a hit point to either an elite unit like their hero or 2 hit points to a non-elite unit. So they're going to get a benefit whoever's less. So if this guy were to cross this, he's also lowest on the crowd favor track, so he would get this ability and he'd get to add those hit points to it. Now let's go through a simple turn. First off, here are the player turns, the turn order. It's very simple. What you're going to do is first is you're going to check the stone hexes. These right here. We're going to say that purple is going to go here. First, you check the stone hexes. I have got somebody that starts my turn here, so I get 1 crowd favor. All right. If I had 2, I'd get 3, but I've got 1, so boom, I go up. This says I get to activate my primary hero, so I get to flip. So now he can be brought out. I'm also lowest on the favorite track, so I get to add 2 hit points to anybody out here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to throw 2 of these. These are how hit points are used right here. We're going to place these there. All right. So that I got because of this right here, and I was also lowest. So that is the check the stone hexes, move it up, and now we go to deployment. Deployment is where I get to grab one of my troops from my camp. So I've got these 4 here, which I keep face down so only I know what they are. And I've also got my hero, which is now active I can bring in. But say I want to bring out, we're going to bring out this guy, our warrior. bring out the warrior, and he's got a 3 on his health. So we're going to take 3 tokens, put it underneath him, and now he gets to be in one of these deployed spaces, one of my red ones. So I'm going to go ahead and place him. We're going to deploy him here. Now, when someone's deployed, they don't get to move or attack that round. It's kind of like in Magic, how they're kind of dazed. So sometimes to denote that, I like to turn it over just so I don't move them or do something with them. Now, they have innate abilities that also trigger. That could be like retaliating, something like that. Those do happen, but you can't move him or attack with him. So he has been deployed. The next thing we're going to go through is tactic placement. You are going to start off with 4 different tactics. And these tactics can be applied to any of these people. So if you chose to have one of these, like for instance, this one says this unit gains 2 hit points, all you would do is lift, place it underneath there. Well, this is instance, you wouldn't place it, but then you'd make this guy gain 2 hit points, but 2, put him over there, and he gained 2 hit points. So any of these tactics you can apply to any of your guys out here, and it kind of beefs them up. Also, if you're adjacent to an enemy, you can put a tactic on them. Why would you do that? Well, some are negative. Like, for instance, hamstring. This unit cannot attack on a turn that has taken a movement. So you can do things like that as well, and that's the tactic phase. Then movement's very simple. Movement goes according to the green at the top. And again, this guy cannot move because he has just come out this time. This guy has a movement of 1, so we're going to go 1. This guy has a movement of 1 as well. He's going to go ahead and step forward here, 1. And then that's the movement phase. Next is the abilities. The abilities are where you're going to activate an ability on somebody that's out here on the board. Right now, none of my guys have abilities, but abilities would be something like some have a regen and then shove. Like, for instance, my hero has over here. If he was out, I would then activate that ability. Next, you can go through engage. Engage is going to be normally what you're going to want to attack with, but you can also use a special ability, and that's if you don't have the chance to attack. So let's go through engage. It's right here. Here's my marksman. He has got a range of 2. So 1, 2, he can hit her from where he is. And notice here, he's going to roll a black and a yellow die. So I would grab the black and the yellow die, roll it, boom. So I have 1 sword. So that is 1 hit, take 1 health point away. And there we go. Now over here, this guy can't attack anybody, but he has something called a reposition. So reposition means if he can't attack someone, he can then move up to his movement forward. So I'm going to go ahead and move just like that. That will be my special there. Nothing you can do for the Beastmaster over here, the Venator. So there we go. That is what you do for engage. And then finally, you replenish your camp to 4. You're going to have a bag with your extra chips. You're going to reach in there, and you're going to pull out 1 more. Take a look at him, and you're going to place him into your camp. So now he is ready to be deployed next time. So you've got everybody out here, and then that is the end of your turn, and it goes to the opposing player's turn. One thing to mention on crowd favor is crowd favor also. I had mentioned the stone hexes will get you 1 if you're on 1 and 3 if you're on both. Also, the crowd loves when you take out an enemy unit. So if this guy were ever to take her out, she's removed from the board and he goes up 2. 1, 2. So that is another way you can get crowd favor and move up along the track to get these rewards, and also the way you finish off the game. Oh, welcome back. That was fantastic.
Heyo.
Okay. All right.
Journey.
All right. Hoplomachus Remastered. First of all, chip theory.
Yes.
You are right. They're
usually.
Okay. In this aspect.
Universally.
For you that don't know about chip theory, they replace all the minis with just chips.
Yes.
Which initially I thought that would be a terrible idea, and I would not be for it. Right.
But I think what I appreciate it, especially in this type of game, because it cleans up the table presence.
Yes.
You know, especially for a skirmish game where you have multiple statuses, you have multiple keyword soup, you know, kind of thing.
Right.
But to have it all right there on the chip. And the other thing that I love about it is, I guess I'm just kind of jumping right into my thoughts here. I found throughout the gameplay it to be difficult to keep track of who have you triggered, because you trigger, it's very systematic. You know, everybody moves, and then everybody can do their activation, and then everyone can engage and attack. Well, that's 3 times that you have to go through everybody, and the order does matter because you want to position them correctly. So I found that to be confusing. Oh, did I do this one? Oh, crap, I didn't. Oh, man, what about this guy? Oh, did he start here or here? You know, and just kind of getting lost in it.
Yeah.
But because they're chips, once you activate them, you can just flip that chip upside down. And then go to the next one. Okay, and now reset them all. Cool. The next step. And so I don't think I would like this nearly as much as a miniatures game. Which is coming from someone who loves miniatures.
I agree, and that's how I feel too. And there's that visual aspect of looking at the health on different people to know where you're going to go at.
Oh, it's so pleasing.
You know,
just see them like getting shorter and smell like wilting,
right?
Bleeding out, withering away.
Okay, that's dark. But the whole thing is like when the heroes come out and you see that just mound, it's like it's going to be hard, and you slowly get through. Now, on the flip side of that, there is I don't know if you know, Camilla gets frustrated sometimes, but whenever you can heal those people +2, and you had just taken that time to heal down that bear or whatever, and all of a sudden,
only takes one per turn anyway.
Because of absorb, and then they just start going back up. Visually, that's like, man, it's almost deflating to see them.
Almost.
It's really deflating to see them go back
Rage-inducing.
up. Yes.
I know. Well, and that is probably my one hang-up with the game, and I joke about it like being infuriating, but that's one that doesn't really fit for me. If you take the one rule, like if you take one of your opponents out,
right,
then I understand it's a catch-up mechanism. Whoever is less on the side track gets to heal one of their guys.
Yeah.
I don't understand why. Like, if I'm fighting you, hypothetically, if we were, like, in the backyard, you had a sword, I had an axe, and Tom said, have a good afternoon.
Yeah, we're still hypothetical, right?
Yes.
Got it. All right, go ahead.
So, again, here we are, and we're battling, right? And I kill your sidekick.
Okay.
And I have killed more of your people than you've killed of mine, so why do you heal? Where do you get that blood from? Where do you get
question
that health?
it because it happened to me.
No, I just don't understand. Like thematically, I don't understand that. I know you need a catch-up mechanism, but it was not only frustrating, it slowed the gameplay down.
It did, but now you did win that game, by the way.
Oh, no, I destroyed you in that game.
She won pretty good.
I
demolished. Now, before we go into deeper, there are a couple other modes on this. There's like Onslaught and Ascension and all that. We're not really going into those. This is a skirmish. Most people are going to buy this for the skirmish. There's the other ones, use the Titans and all that. Not really going into those details or that type of gameplay. The skirmish is what we're for. And the crowd favor is that track on the side.
Okay.
And now you did benefit from when you cross those, your hero would come out earlier and you got to bring your tactics back, but I would kind of heal.
Right.
So, but then also when I crossed it, if I'm lower, I would also heal too. So that's one thing. Now, one thing I did, as far as the planning ahead of this game, there's a lot more strategy to this than I anticipated going in. Like, even like when you're halfway through your turn, we both would say, I wish I would have moved this guy here, because then I could have done this, this, and this.
This game is full of those aha moments.
Right.
And sometimes those aha moments come a little too late for me. I'm like, aha, I see where I went wrong. You know? But yes, it does have a really good aha feel to where it's like, oh, now I see how I can do this. And if I go there, then this keyword triggers off that keyword. And you see that kind of cascading effect of abilities, which is really satisfying.
And normally in games, like if it's like, I'm usually friendly competitive. Like if they say, hey, I want to rewind my turn and start over because, but on this one, you almost don't allow that because you're so deep into the turn when they realize, I should have made that mistake. You know, so we didn't do it much because like, you know, you're too far in now.
I think we would allow it within that one stage, but not the whole turn. It's more like if you're still doing your movement, sure, you can take back a movement and do a different one, but you can't go back stages because it's way too much to unwind and it's too intricate because they play off each other. Right,
and that's one thing like as far as I almost didn't want to jump into this because chip theory, I love them, but they have a habit of being pretty hard to jump into. This game is not. This game is pretty easy to hit the table. That being said, there's a lot of little like innate skills you would forget to do when they come out, whether it's first strike, tactic, and several times you're like, oh, I could have done this, and I didn't. And you can't kind of rewind that.
Right. I will say the overhead on jumping into this game is not the rules, it is the key words.
Yes.
But I think that in what I've learned, chip theory style, they have fantastic player reference that can sit on the table. It's really hardy, it's nice, it's very legible with like a large enough font to read, double-sided, very, very nice. And we just passed that back and forth because it is a two-player game. We just passed that back and forth the whole time. Hey, remind me what that keyword is. This one just came out. What does that mean? It was really kind of takes that overhead off.
It does. And it's like, I wish there were two of these, but it is, like you said, it's a two-player game for this skirmish and keep going back and forth, and it's easy to do. I wish there was more of a player aid, but as far as the the turn are so quick.
They
movement
really
and
are.
all that. So now, component-wise, of course, it's chip theory. The components were fantastic.
Absolutely.
The artwork is great.
I will say too, the mat is really, really nice. A lot of times play mats, I feel like lose kind of the legibility. They get a little bit fuzzier than just a board, right? Just the print quality. I was really impressed with how crisp this mat is.
Yep.
Like as you're going up the two, what do you call them, the crowd tracks?
Yeah, the crowd favor.
Right, as
Yep.
you're going up and down the crowd favor, there are certain times that you're going to trigger an ability, and that is very crisp for a thin font.
Right.
You know, that was impressive.
Some seem blurry. Now, also the dice look great on this.
Oh, the marbling.
You know,
so nice.
yeah, really nice. So, okay, and again, comparing this, because you mentioned before, it's pretty much a battler.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a card battler.
It's
with
a
chips,
trading card game, chips. It's a trading chip game that you don't trade.
Which,
It's Magic the Gathering with chips.
yes, which I do not play, but this one I was happy to jump into. So, all right, taking all that into account, what do you think? Although knowing skirmish and battlers, are those really your forte or not?
Absolutely not.
Really?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so know that going into your
Yes.
score.
No. I mean, IRL, absolutely. I'll cash you outside anytime.
Yeah, that's why I don't go outside. I wait till she leaves and goes
But
home.
it's true. Oh, that's why. I didn't know that.
It is why.
Thought you were waiting for your wife, but okay. Yeah, this is not my style of game at all. But
No.
it is the chip theory, it's the theme, and Joey's puppy dog face. That's why I came into it.
Sure.
But I stayed because I really liked the. Like you talked about, there's not a lot of overhead of the rules.
Right.
You can just jump into it. It feels like a trading card game that takes that overhead off. Yes, it's keywords, but once you get them down, they make sense, and it's right there. It's easy to access, and if you have whatever your clan or tribe that you're playing, they probably only have 5 of these statuses because they're all unique and asymmetric. You know, I think all of mine had either Beastmaster or Beast, First Strike. Like of this, probably only 5 out of the 25, 30 that are listed there. So it really takes that overhead off and some of that pressure of learning this style game. I also think, again, it being chips rather than miniatures cleans up the board a lot.
So much.
And as you do stuff, there's not like the tapping of cards, which gets confusing. It's you just turn them over. They're done. I can't utilize them this time. Great. It comes out face down and then pull it back up. It's just easy to get to the table. And I really like that. I like that each individual faction is going to be very streamlined to play. I'm sorry, I haven't said my score. So I'm going to come in at a 7.5.
Nice.
Mostly because this is not my style of game. But I really appreciate the design. And this is one of those that if someone's like, hey, do you want to play this? You know, hey, do you want to play some Magic? How about Hoplomachus?
Right.
You know, this is going to be, this fits my style of play in a realm of games that I don't like.
Okay, I agree with that. And I'm going to come in at an 8.5 for this.
Okay.
You know, I thought about it. I thought 8, but you know what? I would play this a lot. And here's why. I like skirmish games, but I don't like trading card games. There's too much involved in all this. This is very simple. Also, it hits a table quickly. There's something about grabbing that faction and you bring it out and you put it out and you're like, here we go. You know, and as far as these skills, once you play it once, you're going to play it again and really start leaning into those abilities for each of these factions to go into.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then also timing-wise, like when you bring your tactics back, there were several times playing against you, I did not use my tactics before I could bring them back. And I'm like, should have been before. And there's so many times when you're playing this game, you think what I can do different when I play it again, as opposed to some, you just want to get to the end.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think it finishes quickly. I think it's probably one of my favorite skirmish games that it does not involve having to get all these minis out and all of this, you know?
And it does have a good tension to it where it's not clear midway who's going to win.
Right.
I can see sometimes that you have the upper hand, but not that I've already lost the game. And I think that's really key in a game like this, that it doesn't overstay its welcome to where it's like, I'm bleeding out for 45 minutes.
That's exactly, because when I was playing you one time, I just thought, I can take this because I had my hero in the middle, but then one movement, and I was like, it's going down.
Right.
And I love that switch.
Yeah, absolutely. And it has a nice tension to it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, okay, so that is, that's also our first Hoplomachus I've played, and probably you as well.
Yeah.
So if you like those kind of battler games, and if you like chip theory, the quality, you know what you're getting at chip theory. So, all right. So that is Hoplomachus Remastered. So go fight each other.
Yes.
In the game.
IRL.
In the game. In the game.
Don't listen to him.
nice.
Strong feelings.
Be nice.
You suck.
So mean to me off camera,
Nice.
too.
That was nice. That was good.
Sweet.
Oh, that's super sweet.
Fine.
Let that
Super
put
sweet.
Super sweet.
Where is my super sweet?
On the outside. Don't look. It's a private moment.
Are you picking your nose?
No, I'm itching my nose.
Gross. Secretly, I'm gross. I'm going to shower. Hey, everybody. I'm Joey Evans.
And I'm Camilla.
I almost just said my first name. Are you mocking me?
No.
You are. Okay, yes. Today. Oh, my goodness. Today. Oh, my God. Okay, we'll try again.